Hello students, welcome to the daily current affairs discussion. So to start with the topics today, so this is on India and NATO engagement. So NATO is in news in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, and we will discuss India held its first political dialogue with NATO in Brussels in 2019. Before that, let know what is NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO, okay, is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the politico-military alliance of 28 European countries and 2 North American countries, USA and Canada. The total membership 30, 28 plus 2. Established in 1949 by USA, Canada and several Western European nations to ensure their collective security against Soviet Union during the period of Cold War. This was the period of intense Cold War and popularization. 30 countries are currently members of NATO, which is headquartered at Brussels in Belgium, and the headquarters, the Allied Command Operation is in Mons in Belgium. Fine. India is not a NATO, but India is a non-NATO ally of USA. So India and USA. So India is a non-NATO ally of USA. That's why we are discussing with NATO. India held its first political dialogue with NATO in 2019. The talk are attended by the senior officials, including the Minister of External Affairs and Minister of Defense. The meeting had not been announced by the Indian government so far, because the meeting, what is the outcome of the meeting, has not been declared by the government till date. So, but this can prove that is India is in the process of discussion with NATO, because our close proximity with USA is bringing us near to NATO, the military alliance led by USA. Okay. The importance about NATO collective defense. NATO ensures collective defense. Members of NATO are committed to mutual defense in response to attack by external party. What? Mutual defense in response to attack by external party. Collective defense lies at the very heart of NATO, so it is the principle of collective defense. A unique and enduring principle that binds its members together, committing them to protect each other and setting a spirit of solidarity within the alliance. Right. So collective security is the guiding principle of NATO. This is laid out in Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty, the founding treaty of NATO. Article 5 reads, the party agreed that an armed attack against one or more of them in Europe or North America shall be considered an attack against them all, and consequently they agreed that if such an armed attack occurs, each of them, in excess of the right of individual collective self-defense recognized by Article 50 of the Charter of United Nations, classes the party or parties so attack by taking forthwith individually and in concert with the other parties such action as it deems necessary, including the use of armed forces to restore and maintain the security of the Atlantic area. Okay, what is? If any party is attacked by an outsider. So they'll consider attack against them all. So the principle is attack on one each, attack on all. So ensuring collective response from them all. They will collectively respond. Fine. Then origin at the end of World War II, as battered European nations started to rebuild their economy, the US believed that an economically strong and rearmed and integrated Europe was critical to prevent the westward expansion of communist USSR, embark on a program to supply economic aid to the continent on a massive scale. USA started it to check the march of Russia, the communist Russia. The European Recovery Program, known as the Master Plan. Under Master Plan, USA gives support to European country. President Truman of USA, okay, Secretary of State's George C. Marshall promoted the idea of shared interest and cooperation between the US and the Europe. Through this, US helped the European countries in the rebuilding activity. The US had declined to participate in the Marshall Plan and discouraged Eastern European states in its sphere of influence from receiving American economic assistance. The America provided assistance to European countries. The East European countries were discouraged by USSR to receive such support from USA. So the rift between the two sides get enlarged. In 1946 to 49, the Greek Civil War and the US and UK worked to thwart the Soviet-backed communist takeover of Greece. The Western nations threw their weight behind Turkey as it stood up to Soviet pressure over the control of the Bosphorus and Danube Straits, which connect the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara and the Sea of Marmara and the Aegean Sea respectively. In 1947-48, the US committed itself to containing the communist uprising in Turkey and Greece. Okay, because in that period, the intense Cold War, there is spread of influence between the US and USSR. So, USA tried its best to contain the spread of communism to the European countries, especially Eastern European countries and the other Western European countries. And getting slightest ground, they tried to check it. In 1948, Stalin's government sponsored a coup in Czechoslovakia, which led to the installation of a communist regime in a country sharing border with both Soviet-controlled East Germany and the pro-West West Germany. In 1948-49, the Soviets blockaded West Berlin to force the US, UK, and the France to give up their post-war jurisdictions in the country, leading to a major crisis and 11 months airlift of supply by the Western country to keep their part of the city going. So airlifting was done because the blockage were there. All these events led the US to conclude that an American-European alliance against the US was necessary because the Russian imposed blockade that brought inconvenience to part of Europe. So America thought American-European alliance is the need for a close relationship with European countries. All these events led to US to conclude that the American-Europe alliance against the USSR was necessary. The Europeans too were convinced of the need for a collective security solution, and in March 1948, UK, France, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg signed the Brussels Treaty of Collective Defense. So first, the predecessor of NATO is the Brussels Treaty of Collective Defense, which meant that if any of the signatories face an attack, they will be defended by all of the states. But became the principle of NATO lateral, where first signed at the Brussels Treaty of Collective Defense. We can say this is the first charter for NATO came into operation. A few months later, US Congress passed the Vandenberg Resolution, Vandenberg Resolution, and landmark action advising the President to seek US and free world security through support of mutual defense arrangements that operated within the UN Charter and outside the Security Council. And the Soviet veto could thwart collective defense arrangement. You know, so because USSR had the veto power, they want to create something beyond the United Nations jurisdiction because they know very well that if they brought that within the United Nations collective security, so it will be getting a veto by the USSR. So to save the US veto, they decided to start it without the active without not at the active forum of the United Nations, but separate. So this activity is separate. Fine. The Vandenberg Resolution was stepping stone to NATO. The US believed the treaty would be more effective if they included, apart from signatories, of the Brussels Treaty, countries of North America, Canada, Iceland, Denmark, Norway, Ireland, Portugal. From the American perspective, these countries were the link between the two sources of the Atlantic Ocean and would help facilitate military action if it was needed. The treaty was signed in Washington, D.C. in April 1949. It had 12 signatories initially: US, UK, Canada, France, Denmark, Belgium, Norway, Portugal, Netherlands, Italy, and Iceland, and Luxembourg. Subsequently, others joined. Fine. When NATO treaty was signed, there were only 12 members. Subsequently, other members have joined, and at present, membership has been expanded to 30. 20 from Europe and 2 from North America. India's talk with NATO holds significance because, given that the NATO has been engaging with both China and Pakistan in bilateral dialogue, there is a view here that, given the role of China and Pakistan in New India's strategic imperatives, reaching out to NATO could add a key dimension to India's growing engagement with US and Europe. Okay, that is why the India is interested to rebuild its relationship with NATO. Until December 2019, NATO had held 9 rounds of talk with China and the Chinese ambassador in Brussels and the NATO Deputy Secretary General engage with each other every quarter. NATO has also been in political dialogue and military cooperation with Pakistan. The open selective training for Pakistan officials and its military delegation visited Pakistan in November 2019 for military staff talk. Because during that period, so because of the American and Pakistan closeness, so Pakistan became close with NATO. That is why India was interested. The first round of dialogue was finalized in December 2019 by the Indian mission in Brussels after it received a draft agenda for the meeting from NATO. Upon receipt of the draft agenda, an interministerial meeting was convened, representative from National Affairs Ministry, Defense Ministry, and the National Security Council Secretariat. The government was of the view that engaging NATO in a political dialogue would provide India an opportunity to bring about a balance in NATO's perception about the situation in the region and issue of concern to India. That's why, because once India get an invitation letter from NATO, so India brings interest to get engaged with NATO. There is a convergence in the perspective of both India and NATO on China, the regime, and Afghan, including Pakistan, including Afghanistan. The first dialogue, it is learned, revealed 3 critical issues on which India expected only limited common ground with NATO. What are the 3? From NATO's perspective, it was not China but Russia whose aggressive action continued to be the main threat to Euro-Atlantic security, and that NATO has faced difficulties to convene meeting of NATO-Russia Council due to Russia's refusal to place issues such as Ukraine and intermediate range ballistic forces treaty on the agenda. Given the divergence among NATO countries, its view on China was seen as mixed. While it did not deliberate on Chinese rise, the conclusion was that China represented both a challenge and an opportunity. In Afghanistan, NATO saw the Taliban as a political entity which was not in the line with India's stance, which is almost 2 years before the Taliban announced an interim government in Afghanistan in September 2021. However, the Indians had left maritime security as a principal area of conversation in the future, given a substantial common ground with NATO. India and NATO talked is there a common ground on China. In its first round of talk with NATO, India realized it did not share a common ground with the grouping on Russia and the Taliban. With NATO's view, China also mixed given the divergent view of its members. India's Quad membership is aimed at countering China. So Quad is a group formed by India. Right. So it is a alliance of democracy which includes which one? You can think about this word. Think of word to counter China it has been created with USA, India, Japan, and Australia. Fine. And also there is of course okay Australia, UK and USA. Okay, that alliance is also there. Okay. Otherwise, alliance engagement with China and Pakistan separately would leave it with lopsided perspective on regional and global security matters concerned to India. That's why India is trying to be close with NATO. At the next step, in NATO's view, India, given its geostrategic position and unique perspective on various issues, is relevant to internal security and could be an important partner in informing the alliance about India's own religion and beyond source. It is learned that two sides also discussed a possible second round in Delhi in 2020, which was delayed due to the COVID pandemic. As far as India is concerned, it was felt India may consider proposal emanating from NATO if any or bilateral cooperation area of interest of to India based on progress achieved in the initial round. While many say it is logical to follow up and formalize the talk, some caution because of sensitive attaches to the perception of NATO seen by some expansionists in future. Because NATO is an expansion move. So NATO is an eastward expansion. We can say NATO is marching toward the Eastern European countries, which are formerly close with Russia. That is why the tension between NATO and Russia is growing, because NATO as a military alliance is on a march towards the countries which are very close to Russia area. That is creating the rift and creating the trouble between the two sides. Fine. Then next comes the chronic fatigue syndrome. A woman from Bengaluru has filed a petition in the Delhi High Court to stop her Noida-based friend who has been suffering from the chronic fatigue syndrome since 2014 from traveling to Europe to undergo a physical assisted euthanasia or mass killing. The petition stated that his condition has deteriorated over the past 8 years, making him completely bedridden and just able to walk a few steps inside the home. But the disease, also known as the myalgic encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome, is a serious and debilitating disease that affects the nervous system, the immune system, and the body's production of energy, according to US Center for Disease Control Prevention. It's a very peculiar disease. Experts have suggested that the term can trivialize the severity of the illness. In 2015, a report the US Institute of Medicine proposed the term systematic extension intolerance disease. Its causes are still unknown. However, the potential trigger could include viral or bacterial infection, hormonal imbalance, and genetic predisposition. There is no specific test for the disease, and doctors have to rely on medical examination, blood and urine tests. This ME can affect anyone. This what is called this uh, myalgic encephalomyelitis
myelitis. Okay, or chronic fatigue syndrome can affect anyone from children to adult of all age. According to the CDC, it's more common in women and people between 40 to 60 years of age. The biggest telltale system of this significant blood ability to activities and were performed before the illness. This is accompanied by at least 6 months of debilitating fatigues that is more severe than everyday feeling of tiredness. This fatigue is not relieved by sleep or rest, and exercising usually make the symptoms worse, according to the UK National Health Service. Other symptoms includes trouble sleeping, difficulty in thinking, memory tension and concentration, dizziness, light headache, headedness, headache, muscle pain, joint aches, flu-like symptoms, tender lymph nodes, and digestive issues. According to the New York State Health Department, the most recognizable symptom is post uh, external malaise. Patients often describe it as crash in physical mental energy flowing even minor activity like grocery shopping or brushing teeth is not possible by him or her. Treatment as of date, there is no specific cure or approved treatment. Instead, doctor recommend ways to deal with the symptoms of the disease, how to handle it. The to manage this persistent patient are recommended pacing in which patient learn to balance rest and activity to prevent crashes and caused by extension. The CDC earlier recommended cognitive behavior therapy and graded exercise therapy, which usually uses physical activity as a treatment for this disease. After concern over their effectiveness and possibility of harm, the CDC stopped recommending these treatments according to the New York State Health Department. Even health that exercise or physical activity, which were earlier considered will be facilitating in curing the disease, was revealed that as having negative impact. So the they decided to discontinue that. Fine. Then the next topic is a very interesting one regarding the honey mission. Okay. Okay. So National Beekeeping and Honey Mission. National Beekeeping and Honey Mission was announced by the Indian government as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Package 2020. The scheme is implemented by the National Bee Board and is approved for 3 years from 2020 to 2023. The scheme is aimed at the overall development and promotion of the scientific beekeeping in India to achieve the objective of sweet revolution. So for honey, we are promoting honey cultivation through the sweet revolution. The scheme is under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India. The central sector scheme, 100% central government funding for this. The scheme is funded 100% by the central government. The scheme will work in tandem with the various other schemes related to beekeeping, such as the VIC Honey Mission, Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture, and the Ministry of Rural Development, MSME, Ayush, Commerce and Industry, Tribal Affairs, etc. Objective: foster the holistic growth of beekeeping industry for income and employment generation for farm and non-farm households, augment horticulture agricultural production, develop infrastructural facility including establishing integrated beekeeping development centers, bee disease diagnostic labs, honey testing labs, custom hiring centers, nucleus stocks, apitherapy centers, bee breeders, etc. Empower women via beekeeping because through beekeeping activity, women can get economic benefit and also get empowered. Okay. Augment horticulture and agriculture production, develop infrastructure facility including establishing integrated beekeeping, okay, empower women by beekeeping, develop blockchain traceability system for traceability of the source of honey and other beehive products, and employ IT tools in beekeeping including online registration, etc. Create and enable honey corridor in potential areas, encourage agri entrepreneurs and agri startup in beekeeping or honey production. Promote trade agreements between traders, exporters, and beekeepers. Foster, develop, and diffuse the latest and state-of-the-art technology and skill development in the beekeeping industry for the production of honey and other high-value beehive products. Boost beekeepers through an institutional framework for a collective approach like SSG and FPO, farmer producer organizations, and the self-help groups. Magnify the economic, social, and ecological benefit by diversification through beekeeping by producing a higher quantity and good quality of honey and other value-added beehive products such as bee wax, bee pollen, royal jelly, propolis, comb honey, bee venom, etc. for domestic and global market. It also aims to make farmer aware about distribution of specialized beekeeping equipments for production high value products, royal jelly, bee venom, comb honey, etc. Studies are exploring potential of high altitude honey production of special honey like the Kannauj and Artha district of UP. Use of mustard honey to cure colon cancer. Besides, the National Honey Mission has three sub-missions schemes, namely Mini Mission 1, 2, 3. For the Mini Mission 1, 2, 3, Mini Mission 1. Here the focus is on the production and productivity of enhanced different crops through pollination aided by adopting scientific beekeeping. Natural pollination through the bee. It aims to create awareness about scientific beekeeping. States will be assisted in the setting up of state bee boards, state beekeeping and honey missions. Mission 2, in mission 2, here the focus is on post-harvest management of beekeeping, beehive products including collections, processing, storage, marketing, valuation, etc. Mini mission 3, here the focus is on the generation of research and technology for research and technology for different states, regions, and agroclimatic and socio-economic conditions. Beekeeping is a very traditional activity, and honey is another product available with a small honey beach for human benefit. And right now, because our needs for honey is growing, so we are trying to go for commercial cultivation of honey bee, by which this will increase. Fine. Then Atal Pension Yojana is a pension yojana launched for the unorganized sector. Following recent amendment by the Finance Ministry, income taxpayer will not be able to join Atal Pension Yojana from 1st October 2022. Right, so they're paying income tax. Atal Pension Yojana is a voluntary periodic contribution based pension scheme under which the subscriber would receive a pension at the age of 60 years. It was launched in 2015 and operationalized on 1st June 2015. It is open to all citizens of India between 18 to 40 years of age who have a saving accounts in a bank or post office. Under the APY, the subscriber could receive a fixed pension ranging from 1,000 to 5,000 per month, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 depending upon each choice after the age of 60 years until death depending on the contribution chosen. As he will contribute, so the varying amount of pension will be given to him. Initially, the central government co-contributed 50% of the subscriber contribution or 1,000 per annum, which is lower for a period of 5 years from 2015-2020. This co-contribution was made to subscribers who joined the scheme between 1st June 2015 to March 31st, 2016 and who are not beneficiary of any social security scheme and are not income taxpayer. The minimum pension would be guaranteed by the government. If the accumulated corpus pension contribution is lower than estimated return on investment and it is inadequate to provide the minimum guaranteed pension, then the government will come to the estimate to provide the minimum pension as promised. Alternatively, if the return on investment are higher, the subscriber would get enhanced pension benefit. Subscriber can make contribution to APY on a monthly, quarterly, half-yearly basis. Subscribers can voluntarily exit from APY subject to certain conditions and deduction of government co-contribution or return interest thereon. On the death of the subscriber, the same pension will be paid to the spouse of the subscriber. On the demise of both the subscriber and the spouse, the nominee of the subscriber will be entitled to receive the pension wealth as accumulated till the age of 60 of the subscriber. Fine. So this is about the auto pension yojana. Let's see what MCQ we have fixed for today. Okay. We have taken some important MCQs, very interesting one. Which is the first rank India, what is the following rank India holds in the startup ecosystem?
The startup ecosystem, India ranks third. The top is by USA. Okay, and India ranks third, and the top position is given to USA. USA is at first position. Master plan formed by Secretary of State's of USA, the European Recovery Program after World War II, to which America provided financial support to European country in their recovery in the post-Second World War period. So the answer is B. A bilateral exercise named Udar Shakti is concluded in India and Malaysia. Regarding Atal Pension Yojana, which is the following statement is correct. It is a minimum guaranteed pension scheme mainly targeted at unorganized sector workers. Only one member of the family can join the scheme. No, any member can join. The same amount of pension is guaranteed for the spouse for life after the subscriber death. So 1 and 3 are right. So answer is C. Because answer 2, only one member of family can join the scheme is not correct, because family, any number of members of the family can join the scheme. Fine. Then question 5. At present, India's natural honey export are majorly dependent, around 80% of the export on which of the following country we send it to USA. Then India ranked top 10 globally in terms of production and export of honey. In India, northeastern region and Maharashtra are the major natural honey producing states. So both are correct. The principle of collective defense, often seen in news, related to NATO. So it is a security alliance and its principle is collective defense. It is a political security alliance, a North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Which of the following resolution can be considered as the first step towards formation of NATO? It is the Vandenberg Resolution, the predecessor of NATO. Here, some countries signed the agreement on collective security, which are further expanded to transform into NATO. Which of the following country is not associated with Brussels Treaty of Collective Defense? Okay, so USA and France are not in this. Fine. 10 following are the founding members of NATO. Okay, to the correct answer, all are US, UK, Canada, France, all are the founding members of NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Checkmate Russia or USSR. Which country has drafted constitution which state nature has right? It is a Chile. Okay, then state in huge and the sea it connects Bosporus Strait, Dardanelles Strait and Kerch Strait. Okay, here it is Black Sea and Sea of Marmara, Sea of Marmara and Aegean Sea, Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. So all are correct, correctly matched. Then what is the theme of the World Day Against Trafficking Person 2022? Use and abuse of technology. Trafficking a person means when the persons are taken to another country without valid permission. Valid permission, so it is called human trafficking. Project Gulify is a Google program, okay, to know the streets, to identify the streets by Google app, location app. Okay, it is implemented in India. But in the following research stations of India are set up in Antarctica. India set up 3. The Gangotri, the first one, is closed now. They are running 2 stations. One is Moitri, one is Bharati. Okay. Himadri will not have a station in that name. So presently, we have 2 functional stations, one at Moitri, one at Bharati. And the first one, the Dakhin Gangotri, it has been closed. The first one. Right? They have been closed. Right? We have 2 operational stations, one at named Moitri and Bharati. With reference to currency market, the term convertibility is so freedom of exchange currency like commodity over the counter. You can exchange the currency of the country to n number of international currency. So that is called convertibility. When a currency is fully convertible, it can be converted to international currency at market rate at any point of time without any limit. But Indian currency is partially convertible on current accounts, not on the capital account. Fine. Uh, Nablus, a place recently seen in news due to conflict between the Israel and Palestinians. Chief Minister Navin Patnaik has released a book titled Lockdown Lyrics, a
collection of poems written by Sanjukta Das. Then, which of the following is the only aircraft carrier in service currently? It is INS Vikramaditya. It was a old ship that we have brought from Russia. In Russia, it was known as Admiral Grushkov, the aircraft carrier, and India has procured it, purchased it, and renamed it as INS Vikramaditya. It's the largest aircraft carrier in service with the Indian military. Okay, it is India's only aircraft carrier. There is the following with regard to Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. The scheme promotes commercial organic production through certified organic farming. It aimed at reduce the dependence on chemical fertilizer, thus improving the soil health. Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana is a central government scheme for promoting organic farming. Okay, and in this we want to go for the organic using organic manures and organic pesticides for our cultivation purpose and to avoid chemical fertilizer pesticides. Friends, this is the questions of today. Hope that you have enjoyed the session and enrich yourself. So be in touch with us. So we'll be coming with your daily program on current affairs to update you on the developments. Thank you.
Class.